Hello, everyone. I'm Shannon Smith, president of Key Title, and I am here with Lisa Galanis from Hamrick and Galanis, and also a new founder of a new website, Lisa.io. And I'm really excited to talk to Lisa today about her new endeavor. And with that, Lisa, if we could go ahead and get started, let's talk about that new website and what you're involved with helping prevent seller fraud.
Thanks so much, Shannon. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. So Lisa.io is meant to help combat seller fraud. What we are seeing a huge uptick in is people going out on the public websites, finding a piece of property that, for instance, is in your name only. They don't know if you're married. They don't know who you are. They forge documents pretending to be you. They go to real estate agents and have the property listed, and then they sell it. Often these are going to be rental properties, things that don't have deeds of trust on them, maybe air land. A number of types of properties are targets for these kinds of fraudsters. So seller impersonation fraud is becoming one of the biggest problems we have in real estate right now. As a closing attorney, one of my colleagues had asked a group of attorneys a question. His client received a 1099 in the mail, which indicates that he'd sold the property. He had not. So he calls my colleague and says, okay, I know what I have to do to fix this. And I know it's going to cost me $10,000 to do it. But how could I have avoided this? And so as attorneys, we all sat around and talked about it. And there isn't an easy solution. One of the things people don't understand is the Register of Deeds does not have a choice. If you present a deed and a deed of trust to her, or just a deed to her, she must record that deed unless there's something wrong with it, meaning it's missing a signature or a notary stamp or excise tax or a description of the property. But if it looks valid, she can't stop everything she's doing to verify whether or not that is a legitimate deed. She has other documents that have to be filed, and the law says she must file what's presented to her in the order in which it's received. So you can see that that would cause a huge backlog if the Register of Deeds were then tasked with checking every single signature and every single notary stamp on every document that she's presented with. So there is no easy way to fix it legislatively. There is no easy way to fix it for attorneys. We can do our very best along with our real estate agents to make sure that the seller that is standing before us is actually the person they claim to be. But these fraudsters are so advanced that they buy fake IDs, they buy fake notaries. They're often out of state sellers. Sometimes they're local. I even encountered one personally.
Wow.
Yes. And so if you can't stop it at the level where the real estate agent and the attorney are involved, how do you stop it?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know.
Well, and I know the Register of Deeds offices, many of them have the fraud alert notifications, but that's after the fact.
That's correct. So it's great that I got an email and I know that someone fraudulently sold my property. But the problem is now it's after the fact. And now, like my colleague's client, I'm looking at $10,000 in attorney's fees to get this mess undone. Well, there are more injured parties than just you. Your property was sold, but what about the family that bought that property thinking they were getting ready to build their dream home? What about the bank that lent them the money to buy the property? What about the title insurance companies that are insuring all of these projects? So there are a lot of victims here. You're not going to catch the fraudster, and you're not going to be able to recover all of the money that this is going to cost you and all the other parties. So we came up with the idea of building a website called Lisa.io. And the idea is you sign up, and when you do, I daily check your property. We have built a system that will go out and check all of the MLS in the country and make sure that your property is not listed. If we find that your property that you've registered with us is listed, you immediately receive an email from Lisa.io that says, Shannon, if you didn't list this property, here is the name of the listing agent, their email and phone number. You should contact them. Conversely, we send a listing agent an email as well that says, Shannon has registered this with our company, and therefore we think this may be fraudulent. Here is Shannon's contact information. Please reach out and make sure this is actually the seller that you're supposed to be working with. This way, we stop it at the beginning stages when it's listed with real estate agents.
Hmm. I didn't realize that you were notifying the real estate agent as well. That is fantastic. So everybody's alerted, and there's different things I've heard over the past few months of different tricks that some people are doing to try to verify the identity of the person and do all of this other. But this is just easy login, register the property address,
Yes.
and then it's a low monthly fee and it can be canceled at any time. So there's
That's
no
correct.
long-term commitment.
Nope.
And it's better than, we hear on the radio, we hear about title lock and different things like that too. And the title lock is similar to the register of deeds, in which there's a notification if there's something recorded, correct?
Yes. Again, it's after the fact. It's after the harm has been done. Our idea was to stop the harm before it started. And the reason we also contact the listing agent is a lot of our clients to date are older folks. They may not check their email every day. They may not have it on their phone. They may not be people who are thinking that this is something that's going to happen to them and they need to be vigilant about it. So rather than hoping that they pick their email up this week, especially with a Easter weekend coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And hoping that you're looking at your email over the holiday weekend, we also notify the listing agent to make sure that the listing agent knows. Now, as a real estate agent, you have a double chance of making sure that this is exactly who it is supposed to be. It's entirely possible that Shannon signed up with Lisa.io and then decided to sell this piece of property. And when you as the listing agent get the email from me that says this property is registered, you should double check. When you reach out to them, you'll realize it's the same phone number, it's the same email, it's the same person I've been dealing with. They can then say to them, hey, did you get your email from Lisa? Yes, I did. Okay, so we're in agreement that everything is good and the listing should go forward. So what happens is, as we go out and read the MLS, what we're looking for is a change in status. MLS all over the country are different. It's all data that's varied and it's entered differently, and every MLS is separate. So
and we have multiple just in our state. I mean, we've got, quite a footprint.
We have quite a few. Yes, we have, I believe there's about 800 in the country.
Wow.
So that number's dwindling a little bit, but what we know is about 30% of the MLSs list about 90% of the property. Mm-hmm. So we're even checking the small ones. We're checking Redfin. We're checking all of the places that we're able to check for this data to make sure that your property's not being listed. Can I stop someone who forges a deed like Don Mangum? We all know this story from the local news and Dr. Adams. Can I stop someone from just recording a document against your property? Absolutely not. She never used a real estate agent. But what I could have done is possibly stopped the lady who tried to steal Graceland. Because if she had listed that property and we had that on Lisa.io, we would have seen the change of status when the information came back to us. So we have some limitations, obviously, and that's why everyone should register with their local register of deeds to make sure that if something is recorded, they're notified. I will give all title companies a little plug. There are enhanced title policies that allow you to recoup some of that money if you are a victim of fraud. But rather than relying on after the facts, we're trying to stop it before it starts so you never have to go out $10,000 in attorney's fees.
That's fantastic. Well, I know that there was recently another case, and I believe it was in Apex, and it was about 40 acres. And that one actually did show up as a listing, and they caught it, but they would have caught it much sooner had they been signed up for Lisa.io. So
Absolutely.
That didn't happen until much later on, and they had multiple offers at that point. So much like you said at the beginning of the conversation, it wasn't just affecting that seller, it was affecting the people that were making offers, the lender, everybody else, because they had all their ducks in a row to move forward, and come to find out it was a fraudulent seller. And that piece of property had been in with that family since the 1800s. I mean, it was like another tragic story. So we want to avoid these stories.
And just think what would have happened if it had closed.
Yeah.
Now, unwinding this mess for 40 acres, presumably $1 million or more, if we're talking 40 acres in Apex, now you have banks that are out of money. You have buyers who have spent money because when we're buying 40 acres, we're likely going to develop it, which means I've now got soil scientists on the land and other people doing things that, as a prospective buyer, I'm spending money on.
It's just unbelievable, the amount of fraud. And there's so many different things. So in my mind, I was always thinking about vacant land,
Yes.
but it's happening with second homes. It's happening in, with elderly and all these other different scenarios. So this particular website is great for all of those different scenarios.
Absolutely.
If you've got a second home, you should just stick it on there at this point, or you've got a piece of vacant land. I mean, absolutely.
Well, my own father owns a small piece of rental property near his home, and it has no mortgage on it because he bought it eons ago and has owned it forever. So because it has no deed of trust on it, it is the type of thing that we want to keep an eye on. You will often
deed of trust. That's right.
You will often see rental properties listed for sale that say, do not visit the property. Renters are not aware it's being sold. Okay, sometimes that's not just a legitimate, I don't want my renters to know I'm selling. It's a clue that there might be some fraud involved here. If you're encouraged not to visit a property, then possibly the person who's listed it is not the actual owner.
And there's so many different things, like if it seems too good to be true, if the price is too good, there's like all these other red flags around it. I don't know if you know
for
different,
much lower prices, much faster closings, searching for investors for cash only kind of deals. So there are a lot of red flags, but as real estate agents and real estate attorneys, we cannot be expected to catch every single thing that comes across our desk that might have a red flag attached to it. Because honestly, probably 3/4 of the closings I do tick one of those boxes, and they're not illegitimate closings. They are an elderly person who's ill and we need to sell the house in a hurry because she needs the money for the nursing home. Mm-hmm. It is an investor who's depreciated it as much as he wants to, and he wants to get out and turn that money into something else. So they are oftentimes real, but the fraudsters are just banking on the fact that real estate agents and real estate attorneys can't catch everything.
Well, when I saw the message about this site, I just thought it was so perfect. And the timing is so good because we've been working with a lot of real estate professionals and trying to educate them about fraud. We just had an event where we were looking at driver's licenses and, the details of what a driver's license should look like and red flags around that and emails and texts. And, it's coming from every single direction. So if you can just do a simple register for a site,
yes,
to me, that just makes perfect sense to avoid all of the future problems that could happen.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we offer, because as I said, a lot of my clients are a little bit older, is you don't have to go online to register. You can go to lisa.io and register directly there. But the other thing you can do is simply call me. I can set everything up for you while we're on the phone, get your information, put your credit card in for you. And that way everything is done, because a lot of my clients aren't comfortable with technology. They aren't comfortable doing wires. They aren't comfortable putting credit card information into a system. Ours books through QuickBooks, so we guarantee that everything is safe, but I will do it by hand with clients on the phone. We don't have a problem doing that.
Of course you would. You're wonderful. Well, what I'll do is I'll make sure to put the website information in the comment section of our video here, and I'll put a link so that you can get access via our website about the enhanced policy that you did touch upon briefly. And basically contact information for Lisa too, so that if anybody needed to just give somebody a call and talk to somebody without maybe registering online. I just think it's lovely that you're willing to help walk somebody through it if they have any questions. And if there's anybody in the real estate community that has any questions, you can always reach out to either one of us and I'll make sure Lisa gets the message.
Yes, and you are more than welcome to email me at hello@leeza.io. hello@lisa.io. We get those emails every single day. Glad to answer any questions. And for real estate agents, if you're searching for a good gift for your new home buyer, a year's subscription to Lisa would be an excellent gift.
Fantastic. Great idea. Well, thank you again so much for your time, Lisa. Not only are you one of the top attorneys in our area, but now you've got this wonderful website, and we're really proud of our affiliation and working with you and promoting this. And so we look forward to working together in the future.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Shannon.
Thank you.